Welcome to Get to Know the Speakers of Digital Confex. Today we have with us Yogesh Sharma, e-commerce manager, Beiersdorf. He will be joining as a distinguished speaker on the topic reimagining brand engagement in a post-cookie, multi-platform world. During that will present 6 DMAT Confex in association with Ascended Group Branding, taking place in Ramidri Motel, Dubai on 11 December. So, hi Yogesh, welcome to the chat show.
First of all, thank you so much, Ayush, for such a wonderful introduction, and thank you so much for having me as a part of the event. I think the times that we are in right now are very exciting, especially for an e-commerce channel and for an FMCG brand like us, Beiersdorf. Looking forward to the interaction and looking forward to all the good things that come out of it.
So it's nice to have you in our conference, Yogesh. So can you give us a brief introduction of yourself and your field of expertise for our audience?
So I have almost 8 years of e-commerce experience now. I've worked with the MNCs like Nestle, Unilever, and now Beiersdorf. Also have been a part and seen the world on the other side. I was with Swiggy for almost a year and a half, leading some of their categories, and also worked with Dabur for some time. Um, uh, in the journey so far that I've had in e-commerce, starting almost 10 years ago, um, different markets are in different stages, and these stages are defined by typically two things. One, how evolved the shopper is in terms of how well they use platforms, app technology, and two, how evolved the infrastructure is within the retailers and the agencies and or also our distributor partners and service providers. What is interesting is that in each of these stages, there is a lot of work that you need to do to be able to not just have short-term sales growth, but also to build long-term brand equity. I've been honored and privileged to work with some of the global brands. Currently, I'm leading e-commerce for the UAE market for brands like Nivea, Hansaplast, and Eucerin.
So I think it's nice knowing your journey. And as you have worked with various brands, so I wanted to know, like you are right now working in Middle East. So please let us know more about e-commerce here.
Very nice. Ayush, I think this is a topic very close to my heart, honestly. It was only almost a year and a half ago that I moved to this region. So, coming from a market which I would say is more mature in terms of how quick commerce operates, to a market which is just, on that exponential curve of growth. Um, at the same time, there are a lot of legacy systems, legacy infrastructures, ways of working between different people of different cultures, and also how organizations internally look at e-commerce. So I'm seeing that shift as I speak with you, from e-commerce just being a sales channel to being a platform where you can actually build brands, you can engage with the consumers, you can communicate through variety of content and engagement platforms, build that whole long-term brand equity vision on e-commerce system. I'm seeing the changes on how supporting verticals like finance, supply chain, demand planning, distributors, how they look at this channel. So we are seeing a lot of growth across FMCG in the Middle East, especially UAE and Saudi, and also parts of the rest of Gulf to come from e-commerce. This is raising a lot of eyebrows internally because they are looking at the channel now not just as another sales channel, but as a lever of growth in future. At the same time, there are certain questions that are being asked, and some of these questions are shifting from how fast you can grow to can you grow profitably and sustainably. So those kind of conversations are always interesting. We are seeing the e-commerce team, myself, we are the drivers of change in this digital first era in this ecosystem of Middle East. um, Another good thing that's also happening at the same time is our agency partners, our retailers, they are leveling up in terms of the kind of solutions they're providing to the consumers, right? And it's not just about convenience or delivery anymore. It's also about the kind of data that we are using to target our consumers across the ecosystems. It's also about, let's say, payment methods of buy now, pay later sort of thing, and also a lot of other things which are helping us to ride this digital e-commerce wave in the Middle East. At the same time, there are so many learnings that we are, taking out of this. And what I believe in next, let's say, couple of years, e-commerce will not just be a growth pillar within these organizations, these FMCGs. It will be a priority, not only from a sales lens, but also being present where the consumer is. The internet penetration that you see here in the Middle East is upwards of 90%, right? People are on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchats, TikTok, and so on. We are hearing talks of a lot of, other platforms which are present globally, but not so far in Middle East, now coming in the Middle East market and looking at this market as as a growth lever globally. At the same time, there are so many pilots being done here in Middle East, which have become sort of a learning ground for these MNCs, these FMCGs, to take these learnings from the UAE Saudi market and then implement them somewhere else. So it's a very exciting time, especially for e-commerce and more so for the Middle East market. And I'm so happy to be in the center of all this, not just looking at the changes that are happening, but also taking actions, executing, and delivering results. So it's very exciting time.
It's great knowing you are part of such a good platform, and as e-commerce is rapidly growing in Middle East. So I have one more question. Like, can you give a brief about what you will be delivering during your panel discussion? So just a brief.
Yes, and like I said, because my expertise comes from e-commerce, how you can split e-commerce is also in two ways. There's the demand side and the supply side. While commercially and from a supply chain lens, operations lens, the supply side gets taken care of. We do talk a lot about the demand side, which is creating demand for our products online. And this is a very highly dynamic environment. It keeps evolving almost every single day. Every day we get to hear news from how platforms like Instagram or Google are approaching how they interact with consumers. We have the whole wave of AI coming in, how that is also now part of the conversations in the boardrooms. I'll be talking about the post-cookie world, how it is important for us as brands to be prepared for it. How and what this technically means is that there will come a time in near future where the cookies or the the signals or the trackers on the overall internet will cease to exist. So what is it that the brands will do? We've seen over last almost 4 to 5 years, especially after COVID, the budgets in marketing and brand shift from the traditional media, which is your ATL, TV, radio, print, etc., and it's moved to digital marketing. We have the who's who of FMCG globally announcing that they'll spend most amount of their brand budgets now in influencer marketing. So digital platform is where the engagement of the consumer is happening right now, especially with how we are living our lives. Our phones, our apps, all the social media apps, and the internet is an integral part of our lives now. But what happens when there are no cookies? That's the main topic, and we have to be prepared. Good thing is that in this region, especially now, there are so many things we are doing. Um, uh, we'll become in due time more curious to understand how 1P data can be collected and how it can help all the brands in driving the growth. At the same time, there will be a lot of partnerships for with the media team, with the retailers, to have these clean rooms where we can have direct signals of the consumers and we can target them. A lot of the shift in marketing and communication will also move or layer upon personalization. So we talk a lot about personalization. At the same time, there has to be contextualization on top of it. So those context will come in now. Clean rooms will come in. There'll be certain cohorts that will be created within the ecosystems of the e-retailers, of the 1P data or the D2C websites of the brands. And from there, the measurements also will change. So while we are measuring KPIs of certain variables right now in media, those will also change. And we'll deep dive into all this. And at the same time, how it will eventually impact our sales, our profitability, our growth, our brand equity. All those things get covered in the session. So more than happy to share more insights during the session and the event. And I look forward to the event.
I think our audience will love hearing more about you and also knowing more about in the networking sessions also. So please connect with him when the conference. So I have also prepared some rapid fire questions. So my first
Sure.
question is one word your colleague would use for you.
He's a high agent, I would say. And by that, I mean, if you give a task, then it gets done.
Yes. So any biggest myth in digital marketing,
We rely too much on what's happening online. We rely very less on what the shopper is doing in the aisles, on the platforms, in general in life.
So first thing you do when you enter a conference, like check agenda, meet people, or look for a coffee.
I see the vibe of the room. If I'm talking or presenting, I start with a joke or a anecdote that wakes everyone up.
If you had to sum up your professional journey in a tagline, what would it be?
Wow, that's difficult, but I would say it's just the beginning. More is yet to come.
So thanks, Yogesh. It was great connecting with you, and I am filled with your excitement to join our conference. So any words for our participants who will be joining the conference?
Come with an open mind, ask a lot of questions, interact. What you see is not always right. It's always important to dig deeper, and looking forward to meet the who's of who at the event.
Great. Thanks for your time today, Yogesh. And to all the participants, don't miss the session happening on TechWare Presents 6th DMAT Confex in association with Ascended Food Branding, taking place in Ramit Dream Hotel, Dubai on 11 December. Get a great chance to connect with you in person. See you soon, Yogesh.
Thank you, Ayush. See you.